It has been a long 14 years since the passing of gospel star Vuyo Mokoena. The legend dazzled fans for many years with hits like Njalo, Hamba Nami and many more. He worked with industry giants like Rebecca Malope and Jabu Hlongwane. When he wasn't on stage, he was a husband and a father. Tebogo, his wife, recalls how she met him in December 1996 in the CBD where he parked his meter taxis on her way to see her grandmother. Vuyo was standing with about 10 other taxi owners. They called Tebogo over and asked for her number. She called out the number not even knowing who exactly was interested in her. Then a week later, Vuyo called. She gave him directions. She says, "When I saw him, I saw this tall and handsome man with a huge ponytail. Then he told me he was a singer and that he was very interested in me. I got so excited because he was a celebrity. I went around telling my friends I had met this tall, handsome man and he drove the most beautiful car, a red Gushesha with music on full blast. When I told my friends about it, they told me he wasn't serious about me because he was getting married to Rebecca Malope. When I told him about the Rebecca story, he took me to her. When we got there, he just said, 'Malope, look at her now. She is saying you and I are getting married. Tell her we are just brother and sister and we are twins.' Rebecca just laughed. 2 years later, he popped the question, and another 2 years later, they got married in a small wedding at Tebogo's place. So I'm assuming they lived a quiet life until 2008 when Vuyo fell sick. In March 2008, the star was first admitted to Linksfield Hospital after suddenly blacking out at his house. He was diagnosed with leukemia, a type of cancer that affects the white blood cells. 2 weeks later, Vuyo was discharged after undergoing chemotherapy. Barely a month later, he was back in hospital after suffering a blinding headache. Vuyo and Tebogo were then told the headaches were being caused by a brain tumor. Tebogo says, "We were sitting at home when he suddenly complained about stomach pains and a headache, and I rushed him to the hospital. He underwent radiation treatment." Vuyo later died at his home on Friday the 23rd of May at 5:30 a.m. due to the brain tumor. He was 40. 14 years later, his widow Tebogo can finally remember him without crying. She says she was young, around 28 or 29 when she became a widow. She says, "I felt lost and broken. I thought I was going to lose my mind. I couldn't even stand to see him on TV and I would switch it off. I know what it's like to cry until I have no tears to cry. I also couldn't eat or sleep because of the pain. For a while, I just wallowed in the pain and lived on autopilot, but I had to shake myself out of it. I had a 7-year-old son to take care of. I knew that if I failed to cope, I would be failing him too. Crying wouldn't bring back his father, so I told myself it's not the end of the world. Life must go on. I have healed." But in as much as she has come out of it with a smile, she still holds on to her husband's memories. "Every year on the 23rd of May, I set aside an hour and dedicate it to him. I go through the pictures and the card that he gave me for Valentine's Day, birthdays and anniversaries." She says his generosity was one of his best qualities. He would give money to strangers and the underprivileged. He also loved cooking. "I also smell some of his clothes which still have his scent, and I listen to his music all the time." Her favorite Vuyo song is Likona Itemba. "I sometimes listen to it when I'm down or miss him and wish he was still around. It gives me hope to be strong and carry on with life." She says although she was devastated with his death, it was time for Vuyo to leave because he was in a lot of pain and the brain tumor affected his left side of the body. She says, "God has been a shoulder to cry on and my family and friends were also very supportive." She has since gone to Bible college and then worked in the ministry for many years. Tebogo also founded an advertising company called Growth Point Events, and of course she's keeping Vuyo's legacy alive through his foundation. Tebogo says the foundation is about changing the lives of less fortunate kids. Vuyo had a big heart and he loved kids. Coming from an underprivileged background himself, he wanted to help out as much as possible. "The foundation is what will keep my husband's legacy alive and going for a long time." The two had one son together called Karabo Vuyo Mokoena, but because they lived a relatively private life, not much about their family life is documented. A few unverified websites claim Vuyo had 4 kids, but the only ones I could find are Karabo and his older sister Lerato, who Vuyo fathered with a woman called Tembi. The two of them manage the Vuyo Mokoena page on Facebook, and from their many pictures with each other on IG, they are very close. It also looks like both of them are following in their father's footsteps. Lerato is a singer. As for Karabo, his mother initially wanted him to be a lawyer, but he chose to do music instead. His genre of choice is hip-hop. Tebogo says he told him he could do hip-hop as long as he keeps it clean because his parents are believers. In 2020, he was working as a radio host on YFM, but it looks like he has since left the station to focus on his music full-time.